All right, good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's Shir should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem Ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear Aunt Rivka Bas Gavril Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Shmuel Ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and B'schos Lefu Shalema Bekarov, Mishalom Ben Sarachel, Miriam Basara, and Yair Yeshia Ben Chaya Atara. Today, we are on page 266 in the Ora Vigdor for those who are following along. And today, we're going to talk about kind of a continuation of seclusion that we've been talking about the last couple of days. We're going to turn that now to reality, right? So till now, seclusion is really, really nice. It's a beautiful thing if you find yourself in that position. But we also touched on the point, and I warned you guys that it's not something that you should change your whole lifestyle to put yourself into seclusion to the effect that actually seclusion as a whole is not a Torah dig away. A Torah dig away is to have a family, to take care of your wife, to take care of your children, to be a good friend. And so today we're going to turn from hanging out in the forest, hanging out in the hills, and we're going to turn today's conversation to how you should behave when you're in the kitchen, how you should behave when you're at the office, how you should behave when you are hanging out with your buddies. And that's really the core of bitachon, not in solitude, because those are very, very few. And it shouldn't be in your entire life. If it is, great. But here's the core. And he says like this: if one who trusts, if you have bitachon in Hashem, has a wife, you have relatives, you have good friends, he should trust in Hashem to rescue him from being overburdened by them. Rescuing from overburdened comes from this idea that we spoke about the last couple of days. Why is it so good to be in seclusion? Because you have so many obligations, and so getting away for a little bit to take time to be just you and Hashem and put your thoughts there, those are great things. So a person who has bitachon, who is blessed with having a beautiful wife and children and having great friends, he should have trust also in Hashem, that Hashem will make sure that he won't be overburdened by them. And he should do his best to fulfill his obligation to them and do what they ask him. Obligations is a key word over here. You need to go and do your part, your hishtadlus, as being a father, as being a mother, as being a child, as being a good friend. You have hishtadlus, you have things that you need to do in order to fulfill that role. And so the point he's making over here is, don't just sit back and say because you have bitachon, Hashem is going to take care of them. That's the improper way to go about it. You need to do your part, even though it comes with some challenges, even though it comes up with taking up your day, takes away time from you to be able to get closer to Hashem. But we got away from that. We got away from the hizbodados, from going into the forest, going up into the hills and spending our entire day just you and Hashem. We're living in reality. The reality is we have beautiful families. We live in a society. We need to adapt. We have to be part of it. We have to be part of our communities. And how we deal with that, with bitachon, is what he's going to teach us. And he should be sincere with them. This means he should not resent them and not be angry at them, being like, oh, why are you bothering me? Don't you know I need to sit and learn? Don't you know I need to daven? No, if your child needs you, if your child says, can you do homework with me? Or if your wife needs a break and she says, let's go out to dinner, don't come up with excuses every single day. Say, no, I can't, I got to go to shul, I got to go. No, you have a time and place for everything. You need to set aside place and time to do that. V'yev yodem is a custom, and you should avoid causing them any harm, physically or emotionally. V'yisabev al mash yeh tov lehem, and you should act to bring about whatever is in their interest, like finding, a suitable marriage for yourself, for your children, if your wife needs a vacation, go on a vacation. If your kids need something, do it. Spend time with them. Don't be absent. Don't be mindlessly scrolling your phones. And when your kid asks you something, we're all offenders of that. I'll be probably the first one to say that. But we all do that. They say, oh, I'm busy. You're not busy. You're scrolling social media. We all know that. Don't try to tell it to your kid maybe, but in true honesty, your child knows. Your child sees it, and your child is going to resent you later on for doing that. So push yourself. Don't neglect them. He should teach them the ways of being effective in learning Torah and worldly matters in order to serve Hashem. And additionally, he says part of your obligation of being a good parent is not only to be a provider, but also to teach them. Give them life skills to be a better Eved Hashem, life skills to be a good person. And then in totality, that's going to give you a person that's going to be a great Eved Hashem. And he says, Rav Av says, not only learning Torah, but all worldly matters must be pursued in a way that serves Hashem. Meaning, when you go to work every single day, you work with Ehrenskeit. You work where you're supposed to, but your mindset is that you're doing this because you're doing this for Hashem. You're doing Avodas Hashem. And also it says, love your fellow man as you do yourself. When you go about doing your work, don't have resentment towards, I have to work. I can't afford anything. I need to go to work. I need to make money. No, don't do that. Part of your shtadlus is to work, and that falls into the whole category of taking care of your wife, your children, and being there for your friends and the rest of your extended family. And that part of that is being a person, being in society. And that's the reality, not seclusion every single day. V'amar, and it says, do not hate your fellow man in your heart. And it's not enough for a person to do everything outwardly right. He should also be loyal to other people, meaning inherently. When part of bitachon over here, he's making over here, is that part of dealing with your wife, your children, and everybody else is don't be a faker. Don't just say one thing but really mean something else. Don't just say one thing but don't really come through on that. Be sincere about what you're doing. Being a good Eved Hashem, being a big Baal B'tachon is coming through for your family. Being there when they need you, that you actually come through for that, and you do that in a way that shows off your B'tachon. You do that in a way that when something comes up, your wife tells you there's a challenge or something like that, your response is in a way with a calm demeanor, so that you can show her and your children that there's a way to deal with it. And being a Baal B'tachon is a way of living. It makes your life a whole lot different when things happen, when bad things happen, when difficult things happen, when challenges come up. How you deal with that. We all wind up dealing with it, and we all going to wind up, call it suffering or not suffering from it. And going about it with a way of B'tachon and hishtadlus. Hishtadlus is not anti-B'tachon. Don't leave it on the back burner and let it think it's going to happen by its own. But you have to have that mindset. It's going to bring that calm into your home. And that's what he's saying over here. When you're hanging out with your family, when your wife and everybody else, how you deal with it, they see that. They feel that every single day. Yeah, I'll be to that. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today. And as always, I love you all.